Well, welcome back to the Prospect Hub. We're going to go through the Mets top 30 prospects mid-season report from SNY. I wanted to do this on StreamYard for you, but technical difficulties made it difficult for me to do that. So I'm going to do this on my phone. I don't really like doing this too often. But this is from SNY. Mets mid-season top 30 prospects for 2024. The Mets system is continuing its ascension. Okay, let's see where this goes. I would mention the Mets don't have any elite prospects in their farm system yet. But you never know about pitching. While the Mets have dealt with injuries to some of the top prospects during the first half of the 24 season, there has also been some exciting developments on both the pitching and hitting side of an improving farm system. And as you know, we had the draft this week. The Mets drafted a very college-laden draft. And the Mets drafted a lot of pitchers and a lot of college players in the first round. And MLB, and we'll have an updated version once some of these guys sign. When some of these young guys sign, we'll have an updated version of that. And MLB Pipeline's latest top 100 prospect update, only the Cubs and Rockies had more prospects ranked in the top 100 than the 5 the Mets had. There are also quite a few other exciting prospects who the writer highlights below. Evaluators have told me, the writer, they look at the Mets as a top 10 system in the sport. Well, we'll see. The MLB draft is merely, well, it was this week. The Mets will add potentially 20 more prospects to the system, starting with the number 19th overall pick, who was, of course, what the hell's his name? And, of course, it's Carson Bench from Oklahoma State. I'm all right. A lot of information, folks. The mind tends to go. Without further ado, here is SNY's midseason update to the Mets' top 30 prospects. Number 1, Jet Williams. Although 24 is essentially lost year due to a wrist injury that required surgery, Williams is still the top prospect in the Mets system. Some believe he would have pushed for a big league debut this season had he not gotten injured. He profiles a dynamic, top-of-the-order type of player. He is equipped with double-plus plate discipline, strong bat-to-ball skills, and sneaky power for his size. He's 5'6", by the way. His defensive versatility of being able to play any of the 3 up-the-middle positions, second, short, or center fields that benefit in the teams, in the future team building. Next year he'll be here. Number 2, Christian Scott. Scott has had a meteoric rise. Prior to the 23 season, he did not make SNY's top 30 prospect list. He was number 14 on the mid-season report and number 6 in the update in February. He jumps up to number 2 and is a consensus top 100 prospect in the sport. Mets fans have seen Scott and should expect to see more in the second half of this season. He looks every bit of at least a number 3 starter with potential for more if he can really zone in on improving his command within the strike zone. He needs to stop giving up home runs and needs to improve his command a little bit. And he's already here. Drew Gilbert. SNY had Gilbert tabbed as the Mets top prospect to make his big league debut this year. Unfortunately, a hamstring injury derailed him the first week of the season. If he come back and hit the ground running, it is not impossible he makes his big league debut before the season ends. He has average above average tools across the board and should be looked at as a real option in center field or right field in 2025. He's got a big-time arm for right field. He pitched in school. Also, he's compared to guys like Brett Gardner and Lenny Dykstra. So he's one of these sort of pepper pot players. Number 4, Ryan Clifford. Despite not putting up dominant numbers, the Mets promoted the 20-year-old Clifford from High A Brooklyn to Double A Binghamton. A big factor was that his batted ball data was not being reflected in the results on field due to the conditions for a left-handed power hitter in Brooklyn. At the adjusted to the Double A level, the power has taken off in a big way. He has, as of this writing, 7 home runs in the month of June. Scouts believe he can stand to be a bit more aggressive early in counts. But he has an advanced knowledge of the strike zone, and potentially be the middle of the order 30 home run type of bat at the next level. People compare him to Lucas Duda. Lucas Duda wasn't a bad hitter, bad power hitter. Sometime in 2026. I think he'll be in AAA this year. I think his ETA will be much quicker. I think he could be here next year, possibly by the end of next year. We'll see. But we're going to be talking about him spring training, that's for sure. Number 5. Ronnie Mauricio, he's still here. Mauricio's missing the 24th season after tearing his ACL at the Dominican Winter League. He will enter spring training 2025, likely in competition for a spot at either second or third base. He'll never get on base at a high clip, but he has special bat and ball data. He does hit that ball very hard. It'll be interesting to see how he bounces back athletically from the ACL injury. He had 7 stolen bases, only 26 big league games in 2023. His skills, or his physical skills, are just off the charts. It is amazing. This is my own commentary. It is amazing how good he looks. He looks so athletic. He does everything well. He's got a strong arm. He runs really well for his size. He's got incredible velocity off his pitches, off his batted balls. He's got big power. Whether he gets on base enough and whether he hits high enough, that is the question. In my view, he can be an everyday player, but he needs to improve slightly to be that everyday player and a guy that can really contribute. Because really, they say that he's an average major leaguer, but he has a lot of different things that he does that might be the sum of his parts. So he might be one of these players that's much better than that. Luis Angel Acuna at number 6. After a tough start to his AAA season, Acuna has turned it on over the last 2 months. Since May 1st, he is slashing .294 with 18 stolen bases. The lack of power in his game likely limits his overall upside, but his improved bat-to-ball skills and lowering his chase rate along with plus speed look the part of a regular at second base who can be a plus defender. On a contender, he may be the best as a number 9 hitter who operates almost like a second leadoff hitter. If he continues his trajectory, I would be surprised if he doesn't get a look at the big league level at some point this summer. Now, he's had a very strange season. He's been very much down, and then he had a good month of June, and then the month of July has not been very good to him since this writing. So we have a problem with him. His OPS is not very high. And part of it is because his power is not there. And that is really what will keep him back from being an elite prospect. Because he's a good, strong defending player. He runs like the wind. He could hit. But the problem is he's got no power. So that's a problem. He's not like his brother at all. At number 7, Brandon Sprout, who, by the way, he might be better. He might be better than what they're saying here. Sprout has been one of, if not the most impressive player development story this year. As a 2023 second-round pick, there was some question about fastball shape as well as control and command. He's answered both of those questions. He's focused more on a four-seam fastball that he shows the ability to elevate and touches 101 miles per hour on the gun. 61 innings this year split between High A Brooklyn and Double A Binghamton. Sprout has a 1.77 ERA, while only allowing 34 hits. He is a pitcher who should make top 100 lists by the winter, and he appears to be on the fast track to the majors with the potential to be a mid-rotation starter. He's now on the top 50 according to Baseball Prospectus along with Jet Williams. So he has jumped considerably just in the last 2 or 3 weeks. They say he'll be here in 2025. He's going to be competing for a job at a spring training. There's no doubt in my mind. Number 8, Blade Tidwell. It was a numbers game that led to Tidwell starting the 24th season back at Double A Binghamton, where he posted a 2.41 ERA prior to being promoted to Triple A Syracuse. He has not had nearly the same success in his first 6 Triple A appearances, posting a 5.00 ERA in 27 innings pitched. The stuff is still there, up to 97 with a sweeper. However, in watching him at this level, he's not located as well or out of the strike zone. With the automatic ball strike system going away in favor of the challenge system, I think that should help him. He still has number 3, number 4 type starter potential. He can get back to what was successful him at Double A. ETA for him is 2025. Colin Houck, number 9. Houck, a former two-sport star, was the Mets' first pick in the 2023 MLB draft. He got off to a slow start in his professional career, but over the last 28 days, he has a 778 OPS for low A St. Lucie. He has a chance for above-average power, having shown flashes of plus exit velocity. He's a raw prospect who's focusing on baseball exclusively for the first time. If he can put the tools together, he can be an above-average regular. The thought is that he's a little bit behind. Obviously, he's 19 years old. He's in St. Lucie right now. They're going to take their time with him. He was the best high school player in Georgia last year. And as you know, players that play in Georgia tend to be very good major leaguers. So I think he'll make it to the majors. Might take him a little bit. We'll see where he is in another year. But right now, it's a struggle. But I feel very good about him. Just got to give him time. They say he'll be ready for the big leagues in 2027. Number 10, Nolan McLean. We got an update on him, just to be honest with you. He's a two-way player. McLean has been given the chance to remain a two-way player at the next level. He's a DH as well as converting from a college reliever to a professional starter, following the footsteps of Tyler McGill and Christian Scott, who are also converted relievers. Now, I would mention there's been an update. According to Carson Benj, one of his teammates from Oklahoma, he said that McLean has given up hitting, and he's going to be exclusively as a pitcher. And then, to be honest with you, since he stopped doing that, his pitching has gotten much better. So he did not pitch. He pitched really well in Brooklyn. They sent him to Double-A Binghamton. He got to a very slow start, but he said that he was having a very difficult time bouncing back. So he said he wasn't able to do it. Now Carson Benj is a two-way player. He said he's going to try to do both, but we'll see what happens with him. But he's a different situation. According to this, they say he'll be here with the Mets in 2025. Another guy that can pitch. And the word is he throws very hard, 100 miles an hour, 98 to 100 miles an hour, and he could be a reliever. That might be where his ceiling is. But they're gonna start him and see how he does, and refine his pitch. At number 11, Jesus Baez, infielder. Baez is above average power and was second in the Florida State League with 10 homers prior to his promotion to High A Brooklyn. He's tapped into his raw power while only striking out 60% of the time. Mets have been very impressed with his improved plan at the plate while maintaining his barrel rate and plus exit velocities. He likely profiles best as a third baseman long term, 2027. Kevin Parada, and he's number 12. Parada's offensive prowess in college hasn't quite translated to pro ball with any consistency yet. He still demonstrates power, especially to the pull side, and is a hard worker when it comes to improving his defense. If you can find more consistency, there's still a starting catching position for him. Potential in him. He's still only 22. Rumor is that he's very difficult to work with. That's what I've heard. According to what people told me. People within the Mets organization told me that he's very difficult to work with. And that's the big reason why his numbers have struggled as much as they have. They say he'll be ready by next year. I don't think that's the case. Number 13, right-handed pitcher Jonah Tong. Another big player development win in 24 is what Tong has provided. SNY spoke to Tong in May, which you can read about that. He has exceptional swing and miss stuff with a special fastball that rarely will top 95 miles per hour, but gets elite levels of induced vertical break on it. Couples that with an old-school 12-6 curveball. I haven't seen too many of those. He's working on a cutter and a changeup to round out his arsenal. Tong has a wide variety and range of possible outcomes, but he's one of the most intriguing arms in the system. He's a big pitcher development story. 2026 is what they're saying. Dom Hamill, number 14. Numbers had not been great for Hamill in his first foray in AAA. SNY speculated before the season that he could be negatively impacted by the ABS system. His walks have jumped up in a significant way. Hamill looks like a back-end starter or a potential multi-inning reliever, and his bulldog-like nature on the mound may play well in that role. In 2025, they say he'll be here next year. Number 15, Jeremy Rodriguez. The return in the Tommy Pham trade was a prospect the Mets had looked at prior to him signing with the Diamondbacks as their top international signing 23 for $1.25 million. Rodriguez has above-average plate discipline and bat-the-ball skills, but needs more physical maturation to truly impact the baseball. He has hit his first rough patch of pro ball in the month of June, but he still hasn't turned 18 years old. Defensively, he likely profiles best as second, but does show good actions at shortstop. We saw him in spring training. He's very thin, but he's a big kid, so he's going to fill out. I don't know if he's going to be a shortstop or a second baseman. Might be a third baseman down the line. At number 16, Marco Vargas. Vargas has only played in 18 games this year due to injury. When he's healthy, he boosts plus plate discipline and outstanding bat-the-ball skills. In 39 games since joining the Mets organization in the Dave Robinson trade, Vargas has 31 walks and 39 innings. Not too similar from Rodriguez. He needs more physical maturation to tap into extra base hit power, but there's everyday second base potential here. Keep an eye on him. He might be one of these sleeper players that sort of burst onto the scene. You don't realize he's a good player. At number 17, right-handed pitcher Mike Vasil. Vasil is yet to figure out the AAA level. He has made 29 appearances at the level between 2023 and 24 and has a 5.91 ERA. He spoke to the Mets pod in spring training about some of the issues he had with the ABS system. It isn't time to give up on him by any means, but he needs to figure out the AAA level before he can be considered for a big league opportunity where he has the potential to be a back-end starter. Next up, at number 18, Giovanni Rodriguez, a catcher. Rodriguez was the Mets' top international signing this past January, making a deal for $2.85 million. SNY had the opportunity to talk to him, which you can read, blah, blah, blah. At the time of his signing, MLB Pipeline ranked him as the number 6 prospect in the 24 international signing class. Rodriguez comes with a 70-grade throwing arm and natural feel to receive the ball behind the plate. Offensively, he shows the ability to barrel the ball and has above-average raw power. He's a long way away with a wide range of possible outcomes, but he's a prospect the Mets are very high on. 2029, he's a long ways away. Number 19, Alex Ramirez. Now, Ramirez, I'll skip this because we talked a lot about him. He has been a guy that's been well-liked for a long time, but over the last year or two, it's been spinning his wheels. And he might not be around too much longer. Now, the Mets put him on the 40-man roster this year, but it doesn't seem that he is going anywhere right now, to be honest with you, unless things turn around. At number 20, Nick Morabito. Morabito was a pop-up prospect in the 22 MLB draft out of high school in Washington, D.C. He was not a regular at the major showcase events, but has displayed a wide range of tools that enticed the Mets to use the 75th overall pick on him and give him a $1 million signing bonus. He's turned the tools into on-field performance. Splitting between low A St. Lucie and high A Brooklyn this season, he's hitting .330. He's had a great year. Right now he's in Brooklyn. I would think that he'll finish the year in Brooklyn. He's kind of taken a bit of a dip the way he's hit of late. And they say here in 2026. Number 21 on this list, Cade Morris, right-handed pitcher. We're going to talk more about him. I think I talked about him a little bit. Morris was one of the Mets' third-round picks in the 2023 MLB draft at the University of Nevada. He has a 4-pitch mix with all of his pitches grading out as above average offerings that he can command well. There's belief that with a year of professional nutrition and weight training there, can be more velocity unlocked. Morris currently sits in the low 90s up to 96. He profiles as a potential back-end starter. And now I'm just going to go through some of these other players. At number 22, Tyler Stewart. Number 23, he could be here next year. He could be a bullpen piece, to be honest with you. At number 23, Jacob Reamer, who's missed a lot of the season so far. He's just getting back on his feet. He's a third baseman, first baseman. He's very talented. By 2026, Boston Barrow, which I've talked a lot about. He's the 8th-round pick of last year's draft. Right now, I think he's in St. Lucie. So he's a few years away. They say 2027. Number 25, catcher, first baseman, designated hitter, Ronald Hernandez. They got him for David Robertson. He's actually done a really good job. His power is really good. Been really strong this year. A right-handed pitcher, and I can't believe they put an injured player on here. Calvin Ziegler. I wouldn't do that. At number 27, outfielder A.J. Ewing. Ewing, a 23 4th-round pick, beat up on the Florida Complex League to the tune of a 993 OPS. He's adjusting the low A ball, but shows good bat speed and barrel control with the ability to hit the ball hard, especially the pull side. He has split time between second and center field. Number 28, Ramon Gomez. I've said this before. These lists shouldn't have these players that are injured on here, unless they're a top 5 pick or top 5 prospect. Gomez recently started throwing coming off Tom John surgery. He could be about a month out from getting into game action if all goes well. No. Number 29, Simon Juan. Juan was the Mets' top international signing in 2022, and he struggled to hit in the Dominican Summer League in 22 and Florida Complex League in 23. The 24 season has been a different story. He made swing adjustments, even got into some big league spring training games this year, and he bowls over 100 miles per hour against much more advanced pitching. Repeating the complex league, he's slashing 304 with a 565 slugging percentage and leads the league with 7 home runs. The 18-year-old is a tooled-up outfield prospect who has put his name back on the radar. And finally on this list, and this is a player that could be in Major League. He's probably going to be talked a lot about in spring training. He's probably going to get a long look next year, possibly get called up if the Mets need an outfielder this year. Is Ryland Thomas. Thomas profiles a 4th outfielder. He won the Mets organizational outfield Gold Glove and has shown a little more pop since being promoted to AAA Syracuse. Ultimately, his offensive game is based on making contact, as he only has 64 strikeouts in 160 career minor league games. So, a very, very fun list. Hope you like this list. And, of course, hit the subscribe button for the Prospect Hut. We'll have plenty of stuff for you on here. We'll have the draft, all these drafted players, all their different scouting reports. And I want to thank you for coming by, and I'll see you later.